Thank you for joining me for this really insightful, inspiring, and igniting Operation Greatness chapter meeting for our chapter leaders in our Private Wealth Alliance. That's through operationgreatness.com/leader. And yet this is also this Operation Greatness podcast where we're freely exposing the millions of people who are ready to transform their lives to, I'm calling this our $120,000 Ultimate Life Coaching Program, and we're studying this, and we're talking about it, and we're going deeper within it as part of our Triumphant Success Tribe. You want to be part of our Triumphant Success Tribe. That is yours at operationgreatness.com/tribe. So this is where we are talking about the questions we're introducing here, with all of us sharing our own insights and how we're relating to these questions, these insights, these transformational pinpoints for us to give our attention. We're all working together in our Triumphant Success Tribe, so you're going to want to be there and receive all of the additional insights everyone else is sharing, as well as share your own, because you have so much within you of incredible, great, infinite value to be of greater service to everyone else in our Triumphant Success Tribe. So share the love there. Receive all the love there as well. It's phenomenal. And that is yours as part of operationgreatness.com/tribe. So the question, we're going to go right to the core in the context of the question, and then we're going to go out from there to make sure that you're answering it at all levels. The question is, and I want you to first think of this as peeling away the layers of an onion, except we're going right to the core of the onion because that's holding every other layer in place. And I want you to think of this onion as not being like a big onion. I want you to think of this onion as being as big as a big pumpkin, because that's how many layers there were. So the question is that we're exploring today: how many limitations are you imposing on your life? How are you and why were you limiting your expression of the unlimited? See, that's going right to the core right there. Okay, so the context here is that you are God's instrument for miracles. You are God's gift to the world. It is through your life that the infinite, unlimited, I call that God, and you know what omnipresence means: present everywhere. There is nowhere God is not. So God, or the infinite, unlimited, I mean, some people get caught up on the limitations of their mind, which is their ego, which is disconnected from love, from life, from God. There's one of those pinpoint focuses for all of us to have. Is that true? When I'm coming from ego, when I'm in my head, I'm disconnected from life, from love, from God. I want you to recognize that yourself, because to me that's an obvious, of course you are. And yet when you have that realization, that aha, that shifts you out of limitation, out of ego, out of your head, and back to your core, which is life, love, God, the infinite, unlimited. And that's how you are here to show up in the world, being that light, dispelling the darkness in the world anywhere it still remains. This is why you're here. Like I say, that your purpose is your work is receiving God, and your purpose is extending God. You have to receive, open to life, the full expression of life yourself. That's saying yes to all of the abundance that's destined to be yours. It's, going back to that old saying, you have to help put the oxygen mask on yourself and breathe first before you can help anyone else to get their oxygen mask on. You have to open fully to the full expression of the infinite that your life is meant to be in the world, right? I mean, this is all logical. It just makes total sense. It's moving away from the distractions. So let's even go there first. Like, make sure that you're focusing fully on this conversation, unless you're driving, and then you're, of course, giving at least half of your attention to your environment and your safety and how you are harmonious in the environment. You're driving carefully and safely and with your attention on your driving, and yet, maybe you want to take notes on this. Well, you do. You want to listen to this full Operation Greatness chapter meeting later, and you can take notes, and you're sharing, and I want you to do this, in fact, to point out, write down each insight that we're talking about, capture it in your notes that you're taking, and then also turn that insight into posts that you are making, because I'm going to ask that you are leading every one of your online friends into this Operation Greatness chapter meeting, quote, podcast. It's so much deeper than that. When you're leading your own Operation Greatness chapter, and you're leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating every one of your online friends, as well as everyone in your community, because they need this transformation as much as you, as much as every one of us do, by answering these questions. So share your thoughts about each insight as the post that you're making, as you are leading everyone you can reach, all your online friends, into this same conversation as part of as you are leading your own Operation Greatness chapter and transforming the lives of all of your online friends. They're joining your chapter, and then they are leading their own and transforming the lives of all of their friends. This is how we have together transformed our whole human family. All through operationgreatness.com/leader. And then, anyway, so take this all to heart, take notes, and turn your notes into posts after you have contemplated them and seen how this relates to what's happening in your life personally. So we're doing this from the context of recognizing that it is through your life, by you opening fully to God is the word I use, and if you were limiting yourself, it's been a while now, but I dated this one woman who identified as an atheist. And what is that word atheist? That's a limitation that people were imposing on themselves because they don't like okay, let's be real here. People who think of themselves as atheists, or my dad used to consider himself agnostic, and he was a math professor, and because for him, math is the only truth that we can know for sure, and agnostic, he says we don't know if there is a God, and we can't prove the existence of God. Well, okay, that's an interesting perspective, and yet an atheist who's saying there is no such thing as God, well, what is God? The word, God is a word, and yet what is that word? It points to what is. That which is. God is often called that which is, and I like that because to me you can't deny something that is, like life is, right? Consciousness is, And so the word atheist is kind of like, well, I don't believe in God. Well, God is just the word that we use to describe what is so. So somebody, you see how twisted that is? Like an atheist who doesn't believe in the word we use to describe what is true, what is so, what is, that's illogical. It doesn't make any sense. It's not even intelligent or coherent or rational. Anyway, so that person who thinks that God doesn't exist is just like saying existence doesn't exist. It's illogical. It's not even a rational, intelligent person doesn't think that way. Anyhow, but that's a huge limitation. So I just use the word God to describe what is, and you are the extension of that in the world. Let me give you more about that. Let's go into that further. And for sure, talk about this in our Triumphant Success Tribe at operationgreatness.com/tribe, or in our Private Wealth Alliance for our chapter leaders at operationgreatness.com/leader. That's when you're going all in and being of great service to everyone because you're no longer limiting yourself or holding yourself back in any way. That's for our chapter leaders, because then you're having the greatest impact that anyone else has ever had on the whole planet in our whole human history, other than perhaps Mahatma Gandhi, who transformed the lives of 1 billion people, expelling tyranny from India, and Jesus Christ, who is the example of what's possible for every one of us living our unlimited lives, removing all limitations from our lives. And that's your challenge. Jesus Christ said, all these things I have done, you will do yourself, and so much more. He's saying, be unlimited, stop holding back, stop coming from ego, from fear, and come from love. And that's really what this conversation is ultimately about, removing all limitations that we had used to block God from working fully through our lives to bless the world. That is why you are here, right? I mean, that's it, right? You know that that's why you are here. You're here to be of service to others, and the more you are serving, the more of an impact you are having, the more you're contributing meaningfully through your life to the world, the more wealthy you are, the more happy you are, the more fulfilled your life is. The more you believe in yourself, the more you feel good about who you are. All of that is a direct result of the impact you are having in the world. So, why are you limiting yourself in any way? I mean, okay, so think of a vertical line with like 0 at the bottom and 100 at the top, and that represents the percentage you are open to receiving God. Your work is receiving God at the level of 100%, and that represents the level that Jesus opened to receiving God. And Jesus saying, all these things I have done, you will do yourself. And then he added, and so much more. That's the challenge that he gave you. That's how he instructed you, commanded you to live your life, to open fully to being God's instrument for miracles in the world. You see that, right? And if you're at 0, then you're 100% in ego, 100% in ignorance, and you're at 0% open to God and open to love and open to knowledge, right? Versus how you are meant to live your life, how you are destined to be at 100% open to God, to receiving God as well as to extending God in the world, and becoming unlimited, living unlimited love, unlimited abundance, unlimited contribution to others, being an unlimited person, living with no limits, and being 100% open to being the gift that you are. You're God's gift to the world. So be it. Be that gift. 100% open to first receiving all the love, wealth, prosperity, happiness, peace, joy, meaning, impact, contribution. It is your destiny, it is your gift, it is your blessing to be in the world as the light dispelling the darkness anywhere that darkness still remains. That's you living unlimited. This is us going right to the core here. So this is something, let's break this into a part 2 because I actually have to get going now. I have an appointment. I'm going to church. This is how I'm opening fully to being the light and to opening to the miracles that God working through me is creating in your life. I'm not anything other than the hollow flute, and God is the Holy Spirit breathing life and creating the music through that flute, just as this is how God is working through you to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate everyone in your life. So let's make this a part 2, and I want you to really go deep into this question. We'll talk about this more in part 2, but right now for the question is, how am I limiting the unlimited? And now I'm opening fully to allowing God to bless the world through my life. I'm no longer limiting myself by coming from fear, doubt, worry, or scarcity or lack, because all of that was of ego, which is not God. Ego is at 0%, meaning 0% God and 100% in my head, mental. Just fear ultimately is what that is, and ignorance, what is ignorance? Lack of knowledge, and what is knowledge? 100% God. You see, so I want you to relate to all of this and go deep within all of this, because this is how you're coming out of ignorance and opening fully to God, to love, to knowledge, to intelligence, to being of greater service to more people. And that means what? Coming from God instead of ego, ignorance. Ego means not God. Ego, not God. That's pretty logical and reasonable and intelligent, right? So open fully and remove the ignorance. Don't come from fear. That's of not God. That's as plain as you can get. Fear is of not God. Ego. And what is there to fear when God is with you, moving through you, opening you to the miracles? You are here to be in the lives of everyone connected with you. So really go deep within this and talk about all of this in our Triumphant Success Tribe. That's at operationgreatness.com/tribe. And even better yet, as part of you leading your Operation Greatness chapter and leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating every one of your online friends, talk about this in our private Wealth Alliance for chapter leaders. That's at operationgreatness.com/leader. So there, I'm able to give you as much coaching as you want to have the full impact that is your destiny to have, where you have transformed the lives of every one of your online friends, as well as everyone in your local area, and that's by far your greatest contribution to the world. That's becoming unlimited. That's not coming from fear and coming from love. And your work, your challenge is 100% open to God, receiving God first, and that's all the blessings in the world of the infinite, unlimited, and that is allowing you to be that source of that blessing of the infinite and unlimited in the lives of everyone you are blessed to have connected with you, all your online friends and everyone in your community. This is how you are meant to live. This is your destiny. This is the higher purpose of your life, and you see that, right? So where were you coming from limitation, and how are you now unlimited? You're not coming from fear, you're coming from love, you're open fully to God. And ego, not God, all of that was just a limitation you had imposed on yourself before now, before this moment. And now you are breathing in, breathing God. And this feels right. This is right. This is your duty. This is your destiny. This is your divine design. This is your purpose. This is who you are. And now you're not holding back or limiting yourself in any way. So how much greater are you as a person? How much more do you know you matter? How great do you feel about yourself? How much more clear and free and unlimited and transcendental? How much more have you now transcended the limitations that you previously allowed yourself to have when you were run by your ego, not God? And now, flowing with life, being that gift to the world, or allowing God to work through you to bless the world, because God doesn't have reached down from the sky and offer people gold. No, it's through you, through your life, that the gold is shared freely by helping others find the gold within themselves, by opening up and opening to God, letting go and letting God, surrendering, trusting, believing in themselves, not coming from ego, not coming from not God, which how is that even possible when God is omnipresent? Anyway, talk about all this in our Triumphant Success Tribe at operationgreatness.com/tribe. And we're going even deeper in this in our chapter meeting for today for our Private Wealth Alliance for chapter leaders. That's through operationgreatness.com/leader. How much are you allowing this to transform your life and for you to open completely for God to work miracles through the gift you are, your God's gift to the world? Take all the posts that you're making here and put them into the email that you're sending me, dan@danclatt.com. And do this. Lead all of your online friends through doing this themselves through your chapter link through operationgreatness.com/leader. Thank you, thank you, thank you.